Thank you very much, everybody. This is a great crowd. Welcome to Trumbull. We're so happy to host this event this month. Before I continue with my comments, I want to thank Win Baum and the Fairfield County Brokers Network, Steve Hodson and Paul Timpanelli of Hodson Realty, Jeff Bishop and John McBride of the Trumbull Chamber of Commerce, my town staff and our Economic and Community Development Commission for collaborating to bring this luncheon and tour to Trumbull together. Rena, could you raise your hand? That's Rena Backel, our Economic Development Community Director. If no one knows her, I'm sure everybody does. And if I could have my Economic and Community Development Commission, I see some members, if you'd stand up too to be recognized. So we all know, and you know better than I, that through collaboration and working together, you can get a lot of things done. I'm excited to see everyone here for this luncheon and to highlight the great town of Trumbull and some of the development underway, and most important, to the many opportunities in Trumbull that exist for business and development. As I stated many times during my campaign, if you don't know, I was recently elected. Well, I guess it's not so recent anymore. It was back last November, so this is my first term here, so I've been here about 8 months, and time certainly does fly by, as everybody knows. But as I stated during my campaign, I am for pro-business. I'm pro-business and for pro-development that is smart, well-planned, and safe. And that's keeping within our plan of conservation and development in Trumbull. I ran on a platform to address our vacant properties and our underperforming building and sites. We here today have like you to know that I'm always available. My office is open to anyone at all times. As I said, we work together in a collaborative style to reach out to business, not only to attract business to Trumbull, which is very important, but once that business is here, we work in Trumbull. I work with my staff to make sure we retain that business. I know that you all believe that that's important as well. So I've been actively meeting with businesses in Trumbull since I was elected, and as I said, my door is always open. I'm a friend to business. So my office and our economic development and land use departments are working hard every day to make sure that businesses want to locate and grow in Trumbull and have a great experience working with the town. I hope to see many of you on our bus tour. Are you coming, some of you, on our bus tour today?
Most of them are.
Oh, I hope so. That's great. Because then you'll get to know, for those who are out of town, get to know this great town better. Because it is a beautiful community, and you will see that as we drive around this afternoon. So again, thank you for your interest in our community. And I just want to say, for whoever spoke about their millennials, who was that? You? Well, just let me tell you, I too have 2 millennials, and they're no longer living with us. And I'm sad, actually, so send yours over to me. I have 3 spare bedrooms.
Vicki, I have to say, it's a testimony to your administration that you reached out to us and offered the sponsorship for today's program. So again, clearly you're headed in the right direction. Everything is pro-business here. It's great to see you. It's great to have you host us. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the program over to Rena Backel now, who will speak to the tour and give you some additional information. Thank you very much again.
I can do everything you can do backwards in heels. Just give me a quick moment because I have to just gear up. And so I can do this without the laptop, although you won't see the visuals. So I just want to echo our first selectman. So again, her comments and thanks to our collaborators today, Win and your network. I've spoken with your group before, and I found it to be great for leads, for getting business done, but also helped me to really get to know a lot of the people in the room. So that's been great for me as Trumbull's Economic and Community Development Director. Thanks to Steve and the Chamber, who are daily partners in the community trying to get things done. I want to mention to you, if you should have one of these in front of you. Okay, I'm really excited because we are debuting our new Why Trumbull piece. It is available on our website. We hope you'll use it as you meet with clients and businesses. And we have extra copies available. It talks about why we think businesses should locate here in Trumbull. I want to give you a couple of highlights. The development world is very brisk in Trumbull right now, and that's a great thing. We feel very lucky to have so much interest in our town. We have about 65 million or more in projects under construction. There are about 7 significant projects being constructed right now that were approved over the last year and a half or so. We have under consideration at our land use boards $225+ million being considered. There's at least 4 major projects and certainly some smaller ones. So we're excited. You heard today from Brian Atherton and Steve and some others about some recently sold and space that has been fallow for a while, and we're really hoping to work with all of you to reinvigorate those spaces and make them much more productive. So today, I hope most of you will join our bus tour, because I'm not giving any secrets out here. You have to come on the bus. Did I mention, though, there's free martinis on the bus? This looks like, I was going to say wine, but it looked more like a martini crowd to me, so I figured people ask me this, and I want to share. It should take us, from the time we pull out to the time we're back, somewhere around an hour and a half, maybe a little bit longer if there's traffic. But I think you're going to see firsthand not only some of what's going on, but what the town envisions and plans for those areas. We have a lot of investment that we're looking at from the public sector to complement some of these areas and really make sure that Trumbull is positioned into the future as a community of choice for people to do business, to live, and to play. So we will be today visiting, pause.
Rena, while you're pausing, would you mind telling us what percentage these new developments are residential versus commercial? Do you have a handle on that?
Yep, so some of the, most of the new construction, with the exception of the Oakview project that you'll see today at 100 Oakview, is commercial, office, medical, business, commercial. Thank you. Excuse me. And a lot of the new land use developments coming through are housing related, but there are also some commercial opportunities that are being presented as well.
50-50, 60-40, what about?
I would say 60-40
In favor of residential?
in favor of, residential.
Thank you.
So,
While Rena's setting that up, let me just interject one little thing. We don't, as you know, we're something of a political animal here. We do talk politics at most of our meetings. Today I don't want to talk politics. What I want to do is remind you that the August 14th primary is coming soon, and we'll be here before our next meeting at the end of August. Please, it's very, very important that everybody get out, get energized about what's coming along as far as new electoral opportunities. Make a choice, make a decision to choose whatever side you wish, but get out there and vote, please. Gotcha. Anyway, please, August 14th, everybody get out and vote. Thank you.
sorry for that glitch. So just to give you a sense as to where we're going today, we're going to go through our Long Hill Green Village District that's seen a lot of investment over the last few years, and there's been a recently approved project in that area. We also are making some public investment you'll hear about. We're going to go over to 48 Monroe Turnpike. up the hill a bit, and then we're going to come back over to 7120 Main Street. Where's Bruce?
Right here.
Bruce Wettenstein is the broker on that project, on that site. We're then going to come into the Trumbull Mall area and talk about what's happening in terms of the Trumbull Mall. You may have heard some of the recent news reports, and we can fill you in on that. Then we're going to head into the Reservoir Avenue area, Lindeman Drive, and tell you about all of the activity and investment that's happening there and some of the town's plans for that area. Then we're going to head over to the Trumbull Corporate Park. Again, some of the town investments that we're looking to make and some of the activity that's happening there. And then we're going to come back through Trumbull Center. And we want to just leave you with this, and we want you to really know that we mean this. And I hope those of you who I've worked with closely know. I'm there. I hope that you know I'm a partner with you, so our success is of mutual benefit. And you can call me anytime, the staff anytime. Trumbull has a setup that's very helpful. All of the permitting departments, the land use boards and so forth report up to economic and community development. And it doesn't mean we're meddling day to day in the land use stuff. What it means is that we're able to coordinate and set a vision and pursue that vision as a team. And I think it makes a huge difference. And I think we have an advantage over some other places. So we want to help, we want to share that advantage with you. We're a partner on the ground. We're doing active planning. You're going to hear all about as we travel. I want to thank the United Illuminating Company. Eileen is here. If you could just raise your hand. They gave us some money toward the planning because they understand that this is trying to push an economic development vision, and they feel like that's a good investment of their dollars. So we appreciate that you did that. We do have a tax incentive program that candidly we use sparingly, and it's very, very prescriptive, but it has helped. And you're going to hear on the tour where we did use it and how it has been a catalyst for other investment. We also want you to know that we will walk people through the permitting process here if we have to. We'll meet with anyone at any point to try to give them guidance and give them a sense as where the town's vision is and the kind of support they'll get. So I hope you'll use me and use our team for an advantage for you and to help us really do what Vicki talked about, is really reinvigorate some of these areas and keep vital some of our other already succeeding areas. So thank you. We hope you'll join us, and I think you're going to be really surprised, hopefully happily surprised and excited when you join the tour today and hear what really is going on behind the scenes.
So Rena, what you're saying is you're the point person for any new people coming into the town of Trumbull? It starts with you?
Yes. Well, it oftentimes it could even start with our first selectman, because I report to her and she sets our vision, but I will meet with anyone, and I have, and many of you have done deals and come to talk to me about deals. And the best thing to do is let's sit down on the front end so that there are no surprises, that your folks who are potentially interested in Trumbull know what to expect, and you have a sense as to what the town's vision is for a certain area and how we can be helpful to your clients. So please call me, and then Rob LaBrandy, who couldn't be here today, he's away on vacation. He's our town planner. He does a phenomenal job, I have to say, and he is a key person to work with. And all of our staff, I think, is exceptional, from our fire marshal to our building department. They're easy to work with. I want to point out Gail, our very capable office manager here. She's always there. She answers the phone. She's pretty savvy too. She can answer some of your questions. So thank you. And our Economic Development Commission, who serve, they're an advisory commission, but they serve as ambassadors for businesses and for the town. And you can feel free to reach out to them as well and share your feedback, your ideas, your thoughts. But I hope that you'll consider Vicki and consider me friends, and that we all have an open door policy, and we try to be problem solvers, not problem creators. So come work with us and let's make success.
Great. In addition to this welcoming community here in Trumbull, we also have with us today Lindy Gold from the DECD, the state DECD, who's here to help with the supervision. have worked together and found each other to be a great resource. So thank you, Lindy, for coming. Does anybody have a question? Yes, sir. Aziz.
How do you see the taxes in Trumbull going in the future? Which direction they will be?
Down.
I am absolutely confident that you'll continue to see fiscal stability in Trumbull. There's a lot going on. It's a great town. It's a well-managed town. And, you know, Vicki is really interested in holding the line on taxes. We've talked extensively about it and about growing our grand list in order to do that. So I think there's a bright future here, and it'll be a successful story to tell over the years going forward. I mean, when you have that kind of development interest, there's definitely a positive picture for the grand list. In fact, we'll be meeting with our rating agencies this week. We'll be telling them this is a nice prep for that.
John?
Rena, as a Trumbull resident, I figured that we should also point out to people here who are looking at companies that might be relocating into the area. The Trumbull school system is one of the best values in all of Fairfield County. It's one of the top school systems, and the real estate prices here in Trumbull are very affordable. If you have a client that's looking to move in, why not have them locate here where their employees can find a very affordable place to live where their kids can be very well educated? Thank you.
That's a great point, and just two factoids or accolades that we received. Realtor.com named Trumbull in 2016 one of the top 10 most in-demand school districts in the country. And the State Department of Education last year rated the Trumbull schools the second best school district in the state behind Darien. So just to back that up, I agree in the affordability of this town, given the quality of the school system. Really a testament to the leadership and the day-to-day folks that run our school system and the parents and the community. So thank you.
Trumbull has a population of how many people?
About roughly 36,000. So that's all on your Why Trumbull piece. All of those things we just talked about are on that Why Trumbull piece. Feel free to use it.
Sir.
Rick Henrietta, Ravis Real Estate. Rena, what I was curious about is with some of these plans for residential rental properties that they in the works, are they going to be strictly residential? Is it going to be commercial? Is it planned to, is the vision to see commercial parts of it, ground floor stores, things like that? Or is it
So
strictly
depending
residential?
on, yeah, I understand. So depending on which project we're talking about, the majority of the major projects are sort of multifamily proposals within a zone that have mixed use, you know, it's a mixed use zone. But the up-down mixed use, the major projects are not being proposed that way, but some of the smaller things, and you'll remember in Long Hill Green, when they did that development there are 8 apartments upstairs. We forget about them there because we just really don't hear much about them. But they rented like that. So there may be another proposal or two coming down the line for something like that. But the big projects that you're hearing about are incorporated into a mixed-use zone. And part of what the town is looking to do, and you're going to hear about this on the bus trip, is looking to make sure that the right connectivity in that zone between the housing and the other commercial uses and office uses and other, you know, recreational and so forth uses are made, and they're made well, so that it becomes a whole vibrant area.
Anybody else with a question?
And just, I can't close without saying our other DECD friend, because Lindy and I go way back, but Collis and I go way back. Collis Andrews from DECD is our other wonderful
promised not to talk about
person.
It,
I know. Go ahead, on the bus. But anyway, they are great partners, and they're 2 of the hardest working people at DECD, and we're blessed to have them in our state. So thank you. So without further ado, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you, Wynn, for having us again.
Oh, thank you, Rena. I must say how refreshing it is, again, to see a town that's so willing to accept new businesses into its area. I mean, it's obvious to all of us that new businesses are the lifeblood of growth and strength in a community. And for Trumbull to be so welcoming, I again, hats off to your administration. and to your expertise, you've made good choices. Thank you.
So we just want to welcome all of you again to our bus tour. Thank you for taking the time to join us. I hope that I share with you some things you didn't know today. Please feel free, if you are a broker representing any property that we go see or go by, I want you to chime in, just speak up. Just raise your hand and speak up about it, because that's what this is really about. And we're going to see some very cool things, I think, that you may or may not be aware of. And we're going to talk to you first about Long Hill Green and Long Hill Village. Does anyone not know where that is and has not been there? So it's part of our older infrastructure on Main Street that's been building out to be a walkable kind of village. It's not quite there yet, but we're working toward really making it a place where you can live now, because there are some apartments, you can walk and you can play. We opened 19 new small businesses there in the last 2 years, two and a half years, and there are some additional businesses that will be coming into that area. Just before we get there, we consider this part of town our town hall node. That's what it's called. Can everybody hear me in the back? Yes. So our town hall node just had a little bit of rezoning. This area here, which is a pre-existing non-conforming setup, has now been rezoned business commercial, along with some property across the street here. So I don't know what that means as of yet, candidly, but it can lead to other kinds of development in keeping with our plan of conservation and development. So for a future bus ride, we'll probably be talking a little bit more about the town hall node into the future. So as we head down to the Long Hill Green Village, which we're going to drive into, we just completed a master plan, like a sub-plan, a supplement to our town-wide master plan for that whole area. We basically looked at, for that area, how can we improve this area? Signage, traffic flow, walkability, what can we do to make this green space more functional and something that can be programmed? And we are incrementally looking for to make public investment in the area. So we have won so far 2 grants, one for $475,000 that will help us to redo the green space in the village, one for $100,000, and we're actually using each of those grants to match each other, so we didn't have to put any town dollars in. We're going to expand our sidewalk network, increase the stone walls, redo the green space, add some patios out in front of 2 of the restaurants, reconstruct the parking on the other side of the road, and we're using permeable pavement. We have a lot going on here. We have about $1.5 million in pending grant applications we're waiting to hear on to improve traffic flow and add additional sidewalk connections. So while we're doing the planning and the development work and the business location work, we're trying to go out there and really aggressively seek grants and funding to support some of this. So for those of you who don't know, I did serve as the director of grants for the city of Bridgeport for almost 8 years. Paul and I worked on many a project there together. So I feel like in addition to my other role here, I'm able to bring some of that experience that I've had here to Trumbull, and I think it's starting to pay off. So we're coming into the Long Hill Green Village right now. Corner Deli reopened last year. A lot of you are familiar with it if you're from the area. Massimo, who is in Bridgeport, opened his other location here, and it's been doing extremely well. We are now, this property here was just rezoned they just went in for a variance recently. The diocese is going to be looking to do something with that property. So the diocese owns the St. Joe's property here. So if you look toward the village district when you come in and you look on this side of the road, I'm not good with my left and right, so if you look on this side of the road where you see this red car on my left, that's going to be a patio. That's all going to be patioed, and the parking's going to be flipped across the street to unify this space. We're going to close off the end of the road, and all of this is new. We have sidewalks planned for the whole area. we're going to turn into the former Marissa's restaurant site. For those of you who don't know, this is closed. The restaurant closed. The property is being sold, and a redevelopment plan has been approved by our town land use boards. This entire building will come down. It will move to the north of the site. They bought one property, one parcel, additional parcel. They're going to blast out this side of the hill, and there will be a new 24,000 square foot or so business commercial center with 1 to 2 new restaurants and about somewhere between 6 and 9 retail spaces. There's a little bit of an edit going on to the site plan, so I'm using a little bit of if, then, this. So this will be all reconstructed. The Dunkin' Donuts, for those who want to know, will be temporarily relocated during construction, but it will return to the plaza. So we're excited to have more restaurant options, some patios to accompany those restaurants, and additional business commercial space into the future. This was approved at our land use boards on May 2nd.
Did I see Jack Lynch and the Seasides Band playing in here?
Listen, I don't know. Paul? That's...
I used to see yesteryear, but that was a long
Yeah, yesteryear. Exactly. Possibly, I don't know. But anyway, it's an exciting development. There are renderings of it that we have online, and in some of our, the Bridgeport Regional Business Council just produced a regional magazine, and there's a depiction of this development in that new magazine. So you can take a look at what it's supposed to look like. But we paid a lot of attention to the sidewalk connections that are going to go in, to the architectural side of it, so that it ties in with the sort of New England look of the area. And I think it's going to be a great improvement. We're good. Yep.
Any idea when this project would be completed, when you start?
So they're looking to close on the property shortly. The closing hasn't occurred. It's due to occur shortly. And they're going to look to get under construction in the fall. So, and it's about 18 months. So Mike Soretta, for those who don't know, Mike Soretta, he's a builder and developer in the area. He's the key contact, or you can call me, and I will put you in touch with whoever you need to be in touch with.
It's going to cost Spring Hill is open. The gate is open.
It is. Okay, great. Thank you, Bruce. Okay, so we're heading down Main Street, north on Main Street, and our next area that we're going to go see is an area near near 48 Monroe Turnpike, the former United Healthcare office building. It is a building over 220,000, I think it's more like 250,000 square feet of vacant office space. And if you don't know, it has gone under contract. I'm not at liberty to talk about the development project that's envisioned yet, but I can tell you it'll be a sizable development, and the plan is to make some alterations to the building, but to reuse the existing office building and garage as part of the plan, which is a nice sustainable effort. And that will be in the public realm probably in the next few weeks, but I'm going to hold off giving you, we're going to see the site. So we're excited. That one site represents about 52% of all of our vacant office space in the town. So when that site goes out of commission, and not out of commission, but off the market, thank you. You know, that's an interesting equation for Trumbull to really take a look at where we're at and so forth. So the other thing that you'll see here, we have the Quantic River Trail where you see the crosswalk in the street. One of our first selectmen's priorities is to make that a much more safe trail connection, and this area's had some near misses, if you will. So we're focusing as a town on improving the trail connection through here and making it safer and more accessible to individuals. So this is the trail connector right here. It goes from Newtown all the way to Bridgeport, with a few minor places that need some improved connectivity that we'll see later. You'll remember that the CHIPS area, this area was redeveloped a few years ago. There is a Route 111-25 study that's been done for this area. It is available. If you are representing anyone with properties along the 25-111 corridor, I would suggest you tune into that study. There are some front yard takings that we're envisioning, but don't panic. I can tell you about those and what's envisioned. So this is the 48 Monroe Turnpike. This was originally built for Norden Systems. It's quite a building, and it is, like I said, under contract. They are due to close August 10th on the property, if all goes well.
They lost.
So hopefully all goes well, and you'll see this site go under complete renovation. The site currently pays about $500,000 in real estate taxes to the town. The envisioned development would probably be about a $2 million tax shield to the town. I can't speak to the specifics right now, but that'll be out in a few weeks. So I think we're good. Let's just ride by the, so this is 2 floors with parking underneath. And there's a full parking garage to the rear. This site is currently zoned business commercial. Yeah, it's getting a little overgrown, so we're going to be excited to see it go under redevelopment. This is a 17.5 acre parcel, and it backs up to the Pequannock River Trail. It is absolutely stunning out of the back of the site. You'll have to, until we get stabilized on the road, I want to just make sure I don't go over.
Caution, bus is turning.
Yep. So out on 111 here, excuse me, not 111, Monroe Turnpike here, we're not going to quite go by all these areas, but some of you are familiar with Cooper Surgical's expansion. It's beautiful. If you haven't been in it, go in the warehouse. It is the nicest warehouse I have ever seen. Thank you, Bob Cinto. But it is stunning. There are a number of properties that are for lease on Corporate Drive. Some of you are representing some of those properties on this bus and the other. We also have we have a new build going on at 123 Monroe Turnpike, which is right up here, right before you get to the Monroe line. That is a 10,000 square foot medical office building. Dr. Fergaleski, he's a chiropractor in town, is a partner on that, and he will be relocating his office there. They do have space available, and I have any contact you need. Is that you?
I know you got to be a little bit questioned about that property when you went by. You saying whether it's going to be a developer or a single owner?
I didn't hear him.
48 Monroe, what's it going to be? Is that a developer?
Is it a developer or a single owner? For the property? A developer, you know?
Yes.
Give us that information.
It is a developer.
It will be a developer?
Yes.
As opposed to somebody who's going to use the property by themselves?
It is a developer who will turn it over to a specific user.
You don't have to tell them anymore. That's all you know.
Please, please, please find us somebody to rent the space behind Home Depot. It's been vacant. Okay. So we're coming down this right here. If you have not been to the I Am Smitten Gallery, it's something to see. It's open Monday through Friday. We're coming down Trefoil Drive, and you're going to see the expansion that Henkel did. Is everybody familiar with Henkel Corporation? They took over Sun Product, who had a property here in Trumbull. Slow up. And they took over this building last year. We had the ribbon cutting in January. They spent $20 million renovating this space and their other space and outfitting their labs. They are something to see. It is amazing. There's still a little bit of space left in this building here, number 9 Trefoil. We did move a company from Monroe to Trumbull. A wholesale computer moved there. The Y did re-sign its lease for 10 years, in case you were in on the loop on that. So we do have quite a bit going on here. And we're going to come up on Spring Hill Road. Notice I didn't mention In Sports. Great business. parking is a little, but, you know, right? So if you see, here is the other Henkel site. And they did, interestingly, when we did the ribbon cutting, they did say that they'd like to expand further in Trumbull in the future. They really enjoy being here, and they had a great experience with their project here in Trumbull. Motorcycle, that wouldn't be good. Ooh.
What type of business they are in?
What?
Henkel, what is their product?
I had a good question about Henkel. The division here is beauty and laundry. It is, and they do research here. This is really their R&D and consumer testing here in Trumbull, a part of it. What's really interesting, if you've been in their Stanford space, they designed the interior of this space to look exactly like it, so that when employees go from site to site, it's very familiar surroundings. So we're going to pull in the gate.
Oh, we're going to pull into the gate?
Yep.
Okay.
It should be open.
Right here, take a right here.
Hold on.
Hold on to your hats.
Caution.
Okay, Bruce, we're at 7120 Main Street. Bruce, our broker here, is going to speak to this property. We've been talking with folks.
This is the former DM Reed's warehouse, which was a furniture company in the 60s that May's department store purchased. It's 114,000 square feet on 10 acres. It's presently in contract, but the buyer is not going to be using the whole building. So there'll be anywhere from 20 to 50,000 feet available. Fully sprinklered, 22 feet clear, 10 acres of land. The lease rate is still in the flux. We're probably going to be somewhere in the $8 to $9 range. The use is I would say, a quasi-retail, commercial type use, which should be acceptable. Rena and the first selectmen are meeting with the buyers next week, and if all goes well, hopefully we'll have a closing in October. So it is subdividable. There are interior loading docks on either side, and you'll see these knockout panels, which will accommodate an 8x8 loading dock, multiple. That's it.
Okay, perhaps. So how are we getting out of here?
Okay, we go right out the front. So thank you, Bruce. And we have another meeting, like you said, next week. We have met with them too, and they're excellent people to deal with. So we're looking forward to this. This property has been vacant for how long, Bruce?
4 years.
Okay, so at least 4 years.
United Healthcare had been in here, and they built out 50,000 feet of office. And the owner is going to demolish the office next month, tomorrow, regardless whether it closes or not. It should close. But the offices are obsolete.
Okay, if you haven't tried our new barbecue place right down here, Drew's Barbecue, it's a takeout place. Get the brisket. It's fabulous. So it's 1 or 2 parcels down here. They opened a few months ago, and they're doing great. So make sure you try it. So if you look here on my left, some of these parcels this parcel recently sold. We haven't heard much yet on it, but it's just interesting. We're watching to see what might come of it. So we're going to go down to the mall area and talk about that area next. We're going to take a route down Main Street. I know people are probably going, why didn't they go Madison? But there's paving projects going on there, so we don't want to, we'll be jiggling and it won't be pretty. So we're gonna take the safe, quieter route. But while we're driving, I just wanted to, if you can just say your name and where you're from, just to while we have a few minutes to get us familiar with who's on the bus with us. Rena Bacalar, Economic and Community Development Director of the Town of Trumbull.
Paul Cipollelli with Hudson Realty.
Beth Chappell with CBRE in Stanford.
Can't hear back here.
Beth Chappell with CBRE in Stanford.
Bruce Wettenstein, Vidal Wettenstein, Commercial Real Estate Brokers.
Gary Elkey's Brugger's Bagels.
Yay.
Aziz Siyal from William Ravis Real Estate in South Dakota.
Nancy Kuhn, Newtown Savings Bank, and Trumbull Chamber of Commerce.
Jim Barden from Newtown Savings, Commercial Lending.
Lucky Papadakos Realty, Stamford, Connecticut.
You gotta say it louder.
Louder? Lucky Papadakos Realty, Stamford, Connecticut.
Brian Atherton, Northeast Investment Realty.
Dana Barnes, Concord Equity Group.
Ron Agababian, Angel Commercial.
Al Kerfus, Coldwell Bank and Commercial, Scalzo Group.
Lawrence McCarthy, Commercial, Coldwell Banker.
Larry is also on the Trumbull Planning and Zoning Commission, just FYI, don't jump on him. He's one of our devoted volunteers who stays in meetings till about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Jeff Fuedo, Caldwell Banker Commercial, Fairfield Center.
I'm Mark Yash, I'm with Hudson Realty.
Chris Poulos, Real Estate Realty One Group Connect.
John McBride, Realty One Group Connect, Chair of the Trumbull Chamber.
Jim Brown, Realty One Group Connect.
Next. Hi, I want to be on TV. I'm Tom Hill, TomHill.com from Waterbury. Thrilled to be on your tour.
One and only.
Tom, you got us a tenant on Cambridge, didn't you? The transportation company? Good job.
I can't pass that up. Okay, so I'm the new and improved Tom Hill.
Wannabe.
Okay, I'm a wannabe. I'm Craig Bogartis. I'm with Artanel Energy. We're in solar power, doing large utility-sized projects. And thank you very much for the tour today.
Hi, Bob Ganser. I'm a Chief Financial Officer of RKD CFO. I'm here to work with the commercial groups and help them develop their plans.
Greg Mullish, John McBride, Realty One Group Connect.
And this is Gunnar from Coldwell Banker for Escator.
That's awesome. So you're going to get another view here of, we just exited the Long Hill Green Village. We're heading down toward the mall. We're going to take a little bit of a back way. We're going to turn down Black House Road and come in the back entrance of the mall so that we can go by Madison Village, which is a development that was built a few years ago. The last commercial space that was vacant was tenanted, and they had the ribbon cutting about a month ago or so. Cool franchise, Code Ninjas, and I know they're looking to do more of those franchises around Connecticut. It is a franchise for coding classes and camps and so forth for young people. Similar to like a Mathematica, or what is it, Mathnasium, those kinds of franchises. So it's a very cool business. So that shopping center is fully occupied. There were some parking challenges there, and I don't claim to say they're all resolved, but they did, the property owners did buy the parcel right next door. They came through the land use process, they demolished a house, and they just created another parking lot to the side to try to make that a better experience, and I think it's having a lot of relief for employees, customers, and business owners. So you're going to see that in a few minutes. And if you haven't been to the Sitting Duck, best burgers anywhere. And if you haven't been to Romanacci's wine and pizza bar, and they do all kinds of other things too, you must try it. The food is excellent. And there's also a great, Great sfogliatelle. Us Italians know what that is. Nice and warm they serve them. And it's just, these are great additions to Trumbull, and they really are doing a heck of a business there, all of the businesses there. There's a wonderful bagel place there, also a breakfast spot that you can try. So we really have been adding. We went from having just a few restaurants in town a few years ago to having quite a few. So stay tuned. We're going to try to get one of those restaurant weeks eventually up and running with the chamber. So We're coming back through the town hall, and remember I mentioned to you that this area here was rezoned. So it was a pre-existing non-conforming setup. It's been zoned business commercial, and we'll see where that takes us in the future. This property on the corner was also rezoned business commercial. So the best development project underway in Trumbull is actually at Paul Timpanelli's house. I told him I wasn't going to highlight it because it is behind schedule and over budget, and I usually don't like to brag about those projects. But we'll have to...
900 square foot addition. I'm in month 10 of the project.
Yes. So, by the way, this spot coming up, they're looking to do something with their surplus space and try to do something to rent it. So there are folks there. If anybody's interested in that, let me know. So Paul's coming up. Let's see, where are you, Paul? I remember as a younger professional coming up Main Street, you know, and I knew Paul. I've known him about 30 years. And so I remember he was, you know, very important and all of this, and I thought, wow, that's Mr. Timpanelli's house. That's a nice house. He makes a lot of money. That's what I thought. As a young person, I thought. Then I learned the truth. Here it is. So you got to see Paul's house. Let's see, right here, this tan house. Look at this beautiful addition. There.
You got time back here?
Yes. Getting there.
We're not stopping for drinks?
Make us proud.
Yeah. Yeah, Paul.
Farmer's truck is not even there, as usual.
We're going to do a pub crawl associated with our economic development tour next year. What do you think? We'll really put Trumbull on the map. Get me fired, but that's right. So, okay, we're going to be turning down Black House Road. Just hold on, please. We don't want anybody going over. It's coming up.
You're the one standing.
Yeah, I know, but you never know. Exactly. Okay, so as we're coming down Madison Avenue here, on my right, your left, you're going to see Madison Village. We were just talking about it. I hope you'll stop by and visit some of our businesses there. We're almost there. Woo! And this reminds me, I'm going to touch on this later, but just while I'm thinking of it, we are doing a whole new Adopt-A-Ramp program in town. We have a whole new branding and signs, so anybody interested in getting more information on that, let me know. We'll be doing Adopt-A-Ramps of the same kind all through town. Our program loosened up a bit over the years, so we're going to try to rein it in. Okay, so you'll see Romanacci's, you'll see Sitting Duck, other businesses here, UBC. Pure Poetry is a wonderful new gift shop. Code Ninjas we talked to you about. Okay, right here is the new parking lot. So that was a house not too long ago. It's been totally redone. They took the house down. Yep, it does help.
Poetry is like the Scotland's daughter.
Yes, exactly. Portia, she's so sweet. So we're going to be going in the back entrance of the mall, and you'll notice, thank God, they just repaved the entrance because it was really, really bad. Everybody here probably knows that Westfield sold all their North American holdings to Redemco back in June. I think they closed on that deal. So we do have a new sheriff in town, and if you missed the Wall Street Journal article, I'll fill you in that they're definitely evaluating all of their holdings worldwide to determine what they're going to keep and what they won't. So right now, no change for us, but that doesn't mean there couldn't be in the future, and that doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing, just point of information. We're monitoring the situation, and we're in regular contact with them. So as we pull in, as a result of the changing retail climate that I don't need to tell any of you about, you're knee-deep in it, the mall has come in for a zone change to move this to a mixed-use design district. So they are before our land use boards currently, and the land use boards are considering this zone. Basically, the elements of the zone that they're asking for are a little bit of an easier process to swap out tenants within the mall proper, the existing mall. So they're looking for some process streamlining for that to make it easier. They are also looking to add a mixed residential component, multifamily residential component in the zone with a cap number of units potentially. They are looking to focus on adding more entertainment type venues here, restaurants and so forth. They recently signed a lease for Sequest. If you don't know what Sequest is, you can Google it when you go home. But just short story is, it's an aquarium. It'll take up about 20,000 square feet. They're going to start construction in November. They are relocating 4 to 5 existing businesses within the mall in order to prep for that aquarium. It will be a tourist attraction, it'll be an educational attraction, and it will be a place that you can have parties and events and so forth. And I mean aquarium, like fish and feeding and all of that, like a Norwalk kind of aquarium type of concept, but a for-profit. They have one there's about 5 or 6 in malls around the country. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Ulta Beauty signed a lease, is under construction, finishing the construction. They're going to open on September 7th. They are to the front of the mall where years ago the Disney store was, if that means anything to anybody, and more recently Uniqlo, I think it was, closed, or I may be saying that wrong. It was a clothing store. So they're going to be taking up that space. They did $1 million renovation to that spot. And they will have a full salon in there for the ladies who might be interested in that.
Still pulling up next to LA Fitness.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been reading about the multifamily housing. So there is no proposal site plan application before planning and zoning at this time. There is a zone change. However, the mall did go through a solicitation process to vet potential developers. They have selected someone. We have met them. The Planning and Zoning Commission has met them, and they have shown us some concepts of what they want to do. So right here, if you can see up here, is the back side of where that potential, if approved, okay, first it has to get approved at the zone change, has to get approved, then a whole site plan would have to come in, so we're very early in this process, and all of the land use boards are doing an excellent job and doing a lot of diligence examining this potential change here. But this is the back of what would be a potential multifamily development. In concept, they're talking about how to connect the mall with that development so that it is a live, work, play kind of atmosphere and not just a separate cordoned off housing area. So we're going to come up this way. So that is about between 7 and 10 acres, depending on how what part of the parcel they take. What? They are asking for the ability to put 290 units total in the entire 80 acres, but all of it would be, if all of those units were approved, and my sense is that may be still under consideration, that number, and I'll just leave it at that, but that it would go right up here. So we're not going to turn to the front of it, but what that was a bunch of residential properties that over the years the mall had acquired, and they thought perhaps commercial development and so forth. But the topography is a challenge. What? The topography is a challenge, and you know, right now, most of the malls, in fact, a national consultant we've been talking with said, every mall in America will be a mixed-use district within 15 years. So, you know, I understand it's a change, but it's one that we don't want to be behind in chasing. So we have to balance that with what the community has an appetite for, and I think we'll do that in the end and make a success. So let's go around. Again, the mall acquired all of those, about 30 residential parcels were up there, and they assembled that property. And just a little factoid, the last house that they acquired, and you'll appreciate this because that last house went for I think it was $2.3 million, something like that. It was a little cape, all broken down, stuffed with junk. I wish it was mine, but it wasn't. This whole area, if you see, it's about 7 to 10 acres, the entire area. I say 7 to 10. But, well, oh, it was a quarter of an acre, yeah.
That's extortion at its best.
Well, it is. But anyway, it is what it is. So now we're coming. I want to draw your attention to the area across Main Street. The area across Main Street is currently a planned office overlay zone, which allows for like smaller scale, in keeping with the residential character, office type users. I expect that at some point we may look at this whole gateway between the residential development and these properties across from Main Street. Many of them are for sale, and I know Steve Hodson actually has has 2 of those listings. We're seeing a lot of interest in the area here across Main Street. So stay tuned. You may see some opportunities there and some change to this gateway. So as we're turning the corner, you're going to see on my right and your left 2 vacant parcels. There was an approval for an 8,500 square foot medical office right here. Medical office site that is approved. Took 5 years, but it is approved. It is under appeal. I'm sure that'll get worked out one way or another from a gentleman from Bridgeport across the street. So that is a development that started out very contentious. The neighbors wanted to protect their area, and we certainly understand that. The planned look of the site was not that attractive, but working with the town staff, it's going to be a beautiful improvement to that gateway. The architecture, the stone walls are going to put in. The people really work to move the parking away from the neighbors and so forth. And I give the credit to the Planning and Zoning Commission for really working that and making it a much more positive development for our gateway into Trumbull. So now we're heading down Old Town Road, and we're coming in the backside of an industrial zone that encompasses Cambridge Drive, Oakview Drive, Lindeman, and Reservoir. And we had nothing going on in this area to speak of about a year and a half or 2 years ago, and now we have so much going on. We have so much going on that we're looking to really make sure that whatever happens gets done right. So our first selectman has commissioned a planning study for this area to make sure that connectivity to Paul, and I want to credit Paul. He said we need to rebrand that area and do some different things, and he kind of kicked in the tail our effort to get a planning consultant who is now in the process of doing all the background work and going to be meeting with property owners. And you're going to hear about a comprehensive plan for that area, similar to what we did in Long Hill Green, to drive our public investment, to make better connections, to do some things that hopefully allow property owners to get some flexibility on their properties, and see how we can incent further filling of that vacant space in this area. So there's a lot that's been happening. We hope to do some gateway demarcation right here as part of that plan, something attractive. Am I on the wrong corner? Oh, one more corner before we do the gateway demarcation. All right, who remembers the cow? Who's a Bridgeporter? Yes, all right. These are Bridgeport roads we're on right now. This is not a Trumbull road, so I just want to mention that when the potholes stop, you'll know you're in Trumbull. Sorry. Okay, we're going to go up Cambridge, right? So this is where we're going to do some gateway demarcation to really try to create a neighborhood type feel. We did create some new zoning, a new overlay zone for this area last year that has sparked some redevelopment interest. So we are now on Cambridge. Let's slow up a minute. Right here, DaVita Dialysis. Am I in the right place? Hold on, where am I? DaVita Dialysis just signed a 10-year, 10,000 square foot lease. That property was vacated, just slow up a little. That property was vacated when Sacred Heart decided to get the GE property and give up on a lot of their rentals. This here, well, let's just say we need to work on this property here, number 7. So we are chasing down, I'm sorry to say, but we are chasing down the owners, and from a blight perspective, we're not real happy about the situation with this property. It affects other property owners' ability to, to move their properties. So we are hot on the trail here, okay? I promise you, if it's the last thing I do before I leave Trumbull, this building will be improved, okay? What? That's 6 Cambridge.
What do you think the highest and best use is?
To take it down. Oh, did I say that?
Beside that.
Oh, beside that? I'm sorry, I'm on TV. That never stopped me before. No. So 12 Cambridge, Steve Hodson just got, and where's Tom Hill? Tom. So this is your company just signed a lease here. They do special transportation for special needs students, and they do some employment and training work. They just signed for, how many square feet was it?
Steve handled it with me.
Is it, it's 5,000? I think it's 5,000 square feet. So we're happy. They're moving in right there. That'll bring some new activity here, which we're really happy about. And so this is all part of the plan and study area. And like I said, like we were able to access public funding to support improvements in Long Hill Green once we got a plan together, we hope to be able to do the same here, to see how the town can really help the property owners and the businesses here to really elevate this part of town.
Hey, Steve, you had a meeting here, I think. That's how I found out about this property. I think you hosted this last year here.
Yes.
Tom, don't you remember I was your guest speaker? Come on.
I think there was
You're hurting my feelings.
There was martinis at that meeting, too.
Yes.
That's why. I've been married 3 times, so I stopped looking at other women.
Hey, you know.
Great.
Yeah. I'm not going to touch that, Tom, but I could have. But. So for those of you who don't know, I won 2 comedy contests earlier in my life, but then I didn't win a 3rd, so I'm here. So we're going to come down Cambridge and we're going to turn up Oakview. So we have a project that's before our land use boards now. It is for 101 and 109 Oakview. You're going to see it, and I'm going to ask him to slow up when he gets there because we have a lot to talk about on that corner. It's going to be over this way. Okay, Sacred Heart was occupying a building there, and then there was a vacant parcel next to it. Oh, before I get there, Brian, can you just slow up right here at 40, that tan building? Brian wants to mention something before I tell you about 101, 109.
So here we have 40 Oakview, 66,000 square feet, Class A building, leased from a Fidian Group for 4.6 years, $1.8 million in NOI with bumps, 5.5 million ask, 18.3 cap rate, good for any of the investors. As you can see, it's sandwiched between that connectivity, and it's a quality RD Cinto building, one of the ones that have been meticulously maintained, and a quality tenant.
It's in great shape.
Brian, what you said the duration was 5 years remaining? I'm sorry, 5 years remaining?
4.6 years remaining on the lease.
Okay, so, and with everything going on, that's a deal. So if you look up here, again, 101, 109 Oakview is going through our land use boards to be a 55 or older independent living 128 unit facility. They will take down the existing building that Sacred Heart was in renting, and then they will build out right here. So slow up right here. So this is the site here. Okay, it's a group out of Nebraska that is doing that. This site here is the former Canon office building site. Okay, it was a 70,000 square foot office building. They had some contamination on the site, and this was approved in June of 2017 for a multifamily housing development, market rate, 202 units. highly amenitized by Howard Rappaport, who did the Mark in Shelton. He's doing the one Glastonbury Place in Glastonbury, is the developer. We did do a tax incentive deal on this property, but when Trumbull does a tax incentive deal, it doesn't mean they pay no taxes. Our program is very prescriptive. It's meant to serve as a catalyst for an area and also to turn around difficult to develop properties. So they did get a 10-year deal, but it's a percentage on the incremental growth of the taxes. So any property will never pay less than it was already paying. It's a discount on the increased taxes for the development. So there is a tax abatement on that. This is a $35 to $40 million project. It was the catalyst for people to look at the property next door that you just heard about, another $35 million project. It helped when DaVita Dialysis was looking in the area, that there was some new life and investment. And Brian knows, because we spoke about it, the time to try to put this building into a different direction came because they saw what was going on in and around here. So, and this again is part of that study area. You can head up. So we expect the first building, this is going to be built in phases. So the first phase is a clubhouse in building 1. And that should be sometime either next fall or spring, following spring. It's taking a little bit longer for the site prep. What?
Site work's already done.
Yeah. Yep. And the retaining walls were pretty enormous, what they did in the back there, so that took a while. If you saw up, you know a lot of these properties. The Kennedy Center has space here, Trumbull Racquetball Club. I want to just, at the corner, when we get to the corner of, by the way, Howard Rappaport, as part of his road work, agreed to reconstruct these center esplanades and maintain them into the future as part of the gateway improvements. This building here on my right and your left is under contract on the corner where the Performing Arts Center is. It's under contract. They're doing a pre-application to planning and zoning on August 15th. And the section of the building that's vacant, they have a business that they'd like to put in there, and you'll be hearing about that. I don't want to speak ahead of them on the 15th, but you'll be hearing about that, and their plan is to improve this corner as well. And I might say, when you hear about the use, one of the things they were interested in and the reasons that they looked at this was because of what's starting to go on here.
So that's going to be an owner-user?
It's going to be a franchise that's going to take half of the... So this is the former Henderson lumber sites. It's 17.5 acres also. It has been sitting there like that for a while. It currently pays no taxes to the town of Trumbull because it's owned by Sacred Heart University. It is under contract currently. There is a proposal coming through the land use boards for a multifamily luxury housing complex to be put there. They initially proposed 215 units. They've taken that down a bit. You'll be hearing about that in August at the Planning and Zoning meeting. The developer is out of the New Jersey, Philadelphia area. In fact, we sent somebody to visit one of his developments in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and they just sent a report to me today, and it was pretty impressive, actually. He's an interesting guy, and he does really high quality work. He's done work in Darien, Greenwich, Stanford, Westchester, and so forth. So that has to come fully through our boards. But that investment also wouldn't be at here, despite who's for it or against it, but it wouldn't even be here, I don't think, had we not really started to do some things different in that zone. So we're coming down Reservoir Avenue, and we're going to head down White Plains Road into our Trumbull Corporate Park. So this is the time where we're going to sing 99 bottles of beer on the wall. Paul? He's the do-up guy. So I have a funny story about Paul. So we go back maybe 30 years. I told you I met him as a young professional. He was running the Bridgeport Regional Business Council, and he was chairman of the board of directors of a nonprofit that I worked for. And it was a highly successful nonprofit. And so, you know, Paul was always, you know, I never knew he sang, right? So then I find out through the years that he's in a doo-wop band. So my daughter, who was then a youngster, she's now turning 21, met Mr. Timpanelli many times through the Barnum Festival, through his community work and his business, you know, coming to events. So one day we spotted him somewhere, and she looked at me and she said, "Mom, is that Paul Timpanelli, the old guy that sings in the barbershop quartet?" And we died. Paul took it in stride.
Quartet reference.
Yes, that really offended him because it's a doo-wop band. So right here, down in this area, there is a planned office overlay zone in this area. I mean, professional office overlay zone in this area too. We haven't seen too much come of it, but the Board of Realtors is there. Some of you are probably involved with them. That's as a result of that. And if you look on the my right, your left, from Trumbull Center, which we'll see later when we come back again, this is going to be the Pequannock River Trail connection coming through here. The state just completed. It'll come all to the front here. They'll have wide sidewalk areas, pathways, well marked for the trail connector. It comes all the way across the street here on my left and your right. You're going to see this is all new. This is the trail connector all the way into Bridgeport. If you have not, if you're a biker or a walker, you must see what they've done here. They tunneled under the Merritt Parkway. It goes all the way down, and it goes, like I said, all the way to Bridgeport. It's really quite an asset to us. So it's really becoming not just a recreation way, but a transit way. And we hope at some point to be able to, we have a grant pending with the state for this commuter lot up ahead, to have that be overflow trail parking and create a trailhead using existing commuter lot. So we are waitlisted for funding for that. This is Christian Heritage Private School. They've done some beautiful things with their campus in this historic house renovation where their headmaster lives. But this commuter lot, at some point, we hope to make a trailhead to support the use of that trail as a transit way as well as a recreational asset. So I'll give you a few minutes. We have a little bit of dead time. Does anybody have any questions about anything you saw so far? Nothing.
You've done a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. This does not look good. Something, okay, they're digging something up.
They're replacing the sign.
Is that what they're doing?
In these two multi-unit projects, are there some units for the low income?
No, these two projects are currently proposed 100% market rate at this time.
What about any project going on for senior citizens?
Yes, so remember we kind of took that corner on Oakview and I talked about that. That's a 55 or older independent living facility that's going to go up. You do not have to have medical care. It's not a medical care situation. It's for people that want access to meals and housekeeping, but really don't need the full medical care. So that's going to be 128 units, that particular development. And we have some other things coming that I can't speak to right now yet. Okay? But, you know, remember I couldn't speak to it earlier? Remember? So you'll hear more about that down the line.
Should stay in touch with you, right?
Please do. Just a quick side note. So Quarry Road is down here. If you know Quarry Road, there's a movie theater there and so forth. Excuse me. You'll see the movie theater sign down there. If you go down to the end of Quarry Road, that's where that trail connector comes through that we were just talking about. But also there was some open property that D'Addario's owned, Paul, down at the end there. That was approved in November as a storage facility, 100,000 plus or minus square foot storage facility is going to be, they're doing their, you know, get their pre-work. That'll be coming out of the ground soon. So that will clean up what?
That was my listing.
That was your listing? Good job, Paul. So Mark Bildner is going to be putting that up. He's done some work in Norwalk. Some of you might know Mark. And he, as a result of the building that he's doing there, it was a cul-de-sac that was not attractive, and it was attracting, I would say, I call it negative thrill-seeking behavior was happening at the end of that cul-de-sac. So now with this new development, he agreed to a very robust landscaping plan for that area, and it's really going to beautify that whole corner as the trail comes through. So we see it as not just another, building coming up, but he really took the extra step, and we do appreciate that. So a lot of people, not you guys, but a lot of people forget that we have a Trumbull Corporate Park, but we do. It's right off of exit 11, off of Route 8. We've been trying to work on some gateway improvements. We are not there yet. We will get better, Dana, I promise you. So one of our folks here is a property owner. If you could just raise your hand, Dana. Dana owns 101 Merritt Boulevard. You're going to see it when we pull in. He sold off a 3-acre portion of his property last year? This year. Last year. January. This year. And it is being developed as a educational daycare preschool by Educational Play Care. They just recently are doing a project in Newtown and a couple other places. So you're going to see that under construction. It's a great amenity to the businesses and workers in the corporate park, but also in the region. So we're very excited about that. And we'll give you a chance to talk about your other site when we get down there, okay? Now, that used to be our helipad, the site that Educational Play Care is building. For those of you who didn't know, Trumbull had a helipad. I don't think it was ever used. Was it? Was it ever used?
It was a Sikorsky building, so they used it
back in the day?
Back in the day, yeah.
Okay. So it is we no longer have a helipad. Sorry. But you never know when we can have another one, right? So,
We had another one at Frank D'Addario's house.
This whole fencing, what?
It was a helipad at Frank D'Addario's house.
Really?
French Town Road.
I love it. So this whole fencing was replaced. It was all broken and falling down. There was a grant that we received to replace that, and we have a lot more improvement to do, but we've been trying to make improvement to the 1 mile gateway coming into the corporate park. It was looking horrible. It looks slightly better, Dana. We're working on it. It's a work in progress. As we get off exit 11, if anybody, we asked DOT to allow us to create an adopt-a-ramp spot on this ugly little center island here to improve our entryway into the corporate park. They've agreed that if we can get a sponsor here on this terrible little plot of land, that we will work with them to make this an adopt-a-ramp spot to really improve that. That looks awful. So the first 300 feet of our corporate park belong to Stratford, and the reason I tell you this is there's a blighted property on the corner. It is on the Stratford side, so please don't blame Trumbull's blight officer for this. It's right here. We've been out to try to get them to de-junk the yard with Stratford. They're working on it, but these are the kinds of challenges you have when you share, when you're not in charge of all the adjacent property. So, in the wintertime it looks terrible. It really does. It's unfortunate. So we made a lot of improvement here so we can start cutting the grass. Of course it has to come in more fully, but there was a time where we could not cut the grass here because of the way the road was left. So we, through this grant that I just mentioned, have been able to now regrade all of this so that the mowing, it's on a regular mowing schedule with the town, and it'll look better into the future as the grass comes in. It was just seeded in May, so it's going to take a couple of years, but it looks a heck of a lot better than it did. Believe me, for those of you who are down here. I haven't gotten to the other side of the road. I need a grant to do that side, so if that side looks terrible still, look at this side. So coming into the corporate park, now we're going to slow down. You're going to see a sign that has nothing on it. Please don't ask. We'll tell you about that on the way out. So Unilever owns the building on this side. Let's pull in Commerce. This is Unilever owns this property here. As you know, they have shrunk their footprint over the years in Trumbull, but we are in regular contact with them, and they are very excited about the plan that we're looking to do for this corporate park. So we're doing another one of those mini master plans for this area. They're gonna be hosting our kickoff session. Unilever is. They rent this property and these properties here. And as you know, there was some improvements happening to 60 Commerce, and there's space available there. Cone Elevator moved in, I want to say last year. And they're doing some improvements, and they have space available. This is a beautiful setting right here. It really is. What? Yeah, I know. I think he's a little concerned about turning. I don't know how many square feet available. It's like 2 buildings. So the front building, I think, is one scenario, and the rest of the building another scenario, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and it's office. This is an industrial zone, an IL3 zone currently.
Built by the Japanese, so it's feng shui in the back.
It's feng shui. Yeah, it's beautiful. There's a pond back there. It's really nice.
I'm not kidding.
No, it's gorgeous. It's really nice. So Unilever has about a year left on their lease here, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with this building. We're monitoring that scenario. So we can envision a partnership with the property owners here where we create more connectivity, better connectivity for the workers and the businesses, and maybe some common areas that are improved to support the overall corporate park, and whatever else we hear from our property owners, Dana, and our tenants. We're very excited to be really getting out there and seeing how the town can be a partner in some of the areas. Suburban office parks are very tough, as we all know, and it's in the town's interest to work together with the property owners. So over on my right and your left, where is Brian again? So if you slow up a little bit. Oh, are we there? Let me see where I'm at. So there, we just went by 55. Merritt, that's the property. Slow up right here. Wait, oh no, are we by it? Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. So let's slow up here for a bit.
Just a minute. 110,000 square feet, 490 parking spaces over parked, flex space, 14-foot ceiling heights. The applicant will be making an application for the town of Trumbull for zoning, hopefully to call it the Trumbull Tradesman Center. Really abundance of parking, office, flex. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the applicant, or the new owner we just closed a couple weeks ago, is making an application, Trumbull, with zoning to make some tweaks. And we're looking for tenants for from 1,000 square feet up to 110,000 square feet, flex or office. Priced at $7 to $10 a square foot, triple net.
And his concept is not exclusively, but in large measure, he called it the Trumbull Tradesman Center, to get landscapers, plumbers, electricians, and so forth that want a spot. Maybe they were in their homes or on another spot, need to park equipment, need office use inside, to co-locate within the Trumbull Tradesman Center. So it's a cool kind of shared workspace almost concept for a specific industry, although I know he's a little bit flexible around that. Right? Am I getting that right, Brian? Okay, got it. So we're excited to finally see that building sell and to go to a reuse, a productive reuse. Now, the next building over, 75, is anybody, Sean's not here. 75 sold about 6 months ago? No. About 6 months ago. And they are in the process of trying to look at leases for that space. Some of you might have gone to the open house that they held recently, I don't know. I haven't heard of any specific deals that have been done there, but I do know that there are some people looking at some of the space there. One of the challenges there is that site is underparked, so that'll be interesting. This one's overparked, that one's underparked. Underparked. But it'll be an interesting. So we're looking at, like I said, work with those property owners and their brokers closely. So heading down now to Down Merritt, you're going to see so we do have somebody looking at let's see, where are we? It's on the other side. Okay, so right here you'll see straight ahead, this is the former helipad. This is where Educational Play Care is building their state-of-the-art daycare and preschool. It'll serve about 200 kids from birth to age 6. What?
Are they paying taxes?
Yes, they are paying taxes. They are a for-profit business. Slow up, guys. Slow up. Whoa. Okay, sorry. So I want to give Dana an opportunity to speak to his building and an opportunity that he has to the rear of that property.
All right, thank you. So we own the office building that's diagonally behind us now. It's 101 Merritt. The site was originally 16 acres. We identified 2 building sites. We sold the west site here. It's a 3-acre zone here, so we sold 3 acres for educational play care. We also have an east site, which is going to be another 3-acre site. If we can get the ability to subdivide it. If we can't, we can do a build-to-suit. We can do a ground lease. We can condo it if somebody wants to actually own the land. It can fit, right now it's a parking lot, it's excess parking, so it's flat. It can accommodate probably 40,000 square feet, office, flex. I'd love to do a multi-tenant flex building there, 5,000 square foot increments. So that's an opportunity there. The building itself is in great shape. We can piecemeal together, including some subleases, about 12,000 feet available in there. So, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm choking. So it's great to see some life in our corporate park too, and we hope to work, like I said, I believe that goes through. Yeah, yes. Right? Okay. So, and those, most people here will know that Bob Cinto bought the old Bunker Ramo, and it is 100% leased, I believe. And if you haven't been in it, he's done his Bob Cinto magic on the property. And it looks beautiful in there. There's a CrossFit in there. He's brought some little places to eat in there. There's a number of businesses that have located from other areas. We had a bunch of ribbon cuttings there in the last couple of years. Is somebody here from, is it Innovative Accounting or Innovative CPA? Is anybody here? They signed up today. They're in that building. I was just wondering. So.
Caution, bus is turning.
So again, we're going to do a full plan for this area. We'll be meeting with the property owners. We'll be meeting with some employees. We're going to be meeting with brokers. Like, for example, Brian, you're on the list of people for them to sit down and talk to. So anybody that is here today that's interested in being a part of or contributing ideas to the planning studies that I talked about, please get in touch with me. I'll loop you into that process. It's important. We're really looking to make sure it's a win-win for everybody and that we support these areas. So last but never least, we're going to be exiting the corporate park and we're going to be coming back up White Plains Road in Trumbull into Trumbull Center. So Trumbull Center is, we'll get an opportunity to see, there's a number of vacancies there for retail, office, or otherwise. And we have had a number of new businesses open in the last few months there, which we're really excited to see after a period of time where things were a little quiet there. And there is a redevelopment happening there that I'll point out to you when we get there. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to share? Anything they'd like to ask while we're in transit? Go ahead.
Yeah, what's the story on the right side of the road here? 24/7. You said you were going to talk about that.
Oh, okay. I don't have any money for this side. So I've got to apply for grants to do this side. We have some plantings we're going to do in the fall, a little bit, not a lot, because we need to just be able to cut the grass. So we don't want to put a lot of stuff. But we are actively trying to improve the drive-in. I remember getting a call from Unilever that they were having a board of directors meeting in the Trumbull site, and the grass was like 3 feet high. And you know, we don't want to leave that impression. So we're trying to do what we can with our existing resources to improve the area. So we're going to look at signage in this area. We're going to look at, like I said, the entryway in, walkability, common space, what needs are here, what would be helpful in terms of re-tenanting the buildings, what kinds of things. I mean, we even talked about potentially, should we be looking at incentives to reduce permitting costs, for example, in areas where we have high vacancy rates. You know what I mean? I didn't say that was adopted, but we're talking about things like that to make sure that, you know, we keep these areas vibrant. So, what does anybody have the time? I just
2:09.
2:09. All right, do you mind if I take a quick photo of you? All right, ready? Lean in. Smile. My God, you guys look terrified. They're like, she's gonna go over. No. All right, ready? I'm gonna do a little video. We're on our bus tour. Yes, I'm standing backwards in heels and taking video of these phenomenal brokers and business owners who want to be in Trumbull and are looking to invest here. We'll check back later. I like to pretend I'm an influencer on social media. I'm really not.
Here's some stand-up.
What? Oh, no. My routine was not appropriate for this bus, I assure you. I assure you. Yeah, it was when I came off of my 10 years of bartending. Smile. So I've refined my shtick since then. Not much. What? Yeah. No, seriously. Remember the old comedy house? The Tree House used to be on Chapel Street in New Haven years ago in the early 90s. So Joyce Thomas was with me when I won the first time. Yeah. Yeah, and then I had to go back. I actually went back 3 times and won 3 times, but I couldn't go back a 4th time because it was just taking up my life, and I was like, this is bizarre. I haven't been yet, but I'm looking forward to going.
Local talent?
I don't know. So we're coming up through Nichols, and if you have time on a Thursday afternoon into the fall, over at Nichols Improvement, our Community Improvement Center, is that what it's called? Nichols Improvement Association. We're going to be going by it. They have a wonderful farmers market in that area every Thursday afternoon through beginning of October, I believe. And they have great products, so just keep it in mind if you're a farmers market kind of person. It's really a good one. We went by Trumbull's Indian Reservation. Sorry, we missed that. It was on my left and your right. The what is it?
Golden Hill.
Golden Hill Paugusta Indian Reservation was up the street, if you didn't know that. Yeah, 1/8 of an acre. Nevertheless, they've been here a long time, long time. We do have quite a bit of new housing construction, single family even underway. There's some that you're going to see as we're driving here. After a we just passed it down here. After a fairly long period of time without too much of that going on, we actually have a fair amount of single family housing development that's been coming through. So right straight behind me and forward, if you just look across the street, that's where the farmers market is, for anybody interested.
What day?
Thursdays. I think it opens at 3:30, 3 or 3:30, and it goes till about 6. So there's a red house up there on the hill. In 1993, I almost bought it. Then I didn't. Yep. right there. It was $260,000 in 1993. And I thought that was too much. Woo. Yeah.
When do we start, Jeff? 1. Start right on 1.
What time is it?
It's 2:20.
We're going to be back on time. We were dead right. An hour and a half.
You're back early.
Yeah. Good driving.
Talking.
Yeah. Aw, thank you. So I know Rick Henrietta's not on our bus, but he might be on the other bus. He was at the luncheon today. I think he's listing, where are we? We're not there yet. There's a parcel up here, 9 acres, is it? That he's got listed.
Dana, will there be a list of all the properties forward to everybody who attended?
So,
There may be something that's of interest, but they're going to forget.
So I would encourage everybody to call me if they want to talk about anything. In the packet, some of these listings, people got me some stuff ahead of time. Not a lot. But what you can do is if you have properties that you want me to circulate to people, send me an electronic version. In case you don't know, last year Trumbull added to its website a commercial property button. So any property that is on Loop, is it Link or Net? LoopNet, we have a link to LoopNet. We have a loop link to LoopNet. So anybody who has a listing on LoopNet and checks off the box that they want it shared, okay, you pay that extra amount of money that can be shared. It's shared through our website, and we direct people, and they will email you, they can email you directly through our website. So we've done it. I know Valaria, who was at our luncheon today, she stood up and talked about the brew pub and a couple of other things. She goes on there regularly looking at our properties, so hopefully you're a part of that. So coming up, we're coming back up White Plains Road into Trumbull Center. Trumbull has more open space and parkland per capita than anywhere in Connecticut. And they keep their parks beautifully. It really is an asset. During the lunch hour, parks are open. You don't need a pass. So if you have employees in the area, like say Reservoir Avenue area, and they want to come down to Twin Brooks during 11 and 1 or 11 and 2, I think it is, you don't need a pass. They do welcome employees. They're from out of town to eat their lunch in the parks. They don't issue park passes to anybody out of town unless you pay, right, and a hefty amount. But you can go there on your lunch hour. They do open their parks as a business-friendly measure. So coming through here, we have, I told you there was a pending grant for a trailhead there. That grant would expand the trail connector up this side of the road. It's a $600,000 grant that we're in queue for. It hasn't been awarded yet. We're on a waiting list. But it would come all the way through here. It would improve the whole sidewalk connection here all the way to Twin Brooks. Or if people wanted to go across the street to Bridgeport, like we just talked about, the trail goes all the way down here now to Bridgeport under the highway. So the trail connector that's going to be improved from Twin Brooks into Trumbull Center is funded. There are grants in place to fund that. There'll be a 10-foot wide, and in most areas 6 foot in front of the shopping center because there's not enough room, connector for the trail. It'll be marked. So this whole sidewalk area that you see here will be replaced, will be widened. There will be trail markers and signage to facilitate pedestrian and bicycle through here. That is, like I said, fully funded from grants, and it is, they're doing some takings, but it's fully designed, and it's expected to go to construction, this piece, next spring. And it'll really unify the look of this whole sidewalk and this whole pedestrian walkway here. So we're coming into Trumbull Center. So the former Percelli's grocery store is still available. You can find it on our website. And we're trying diligently to get a Trader Joe's here. Now that's because that's what everybody wants. Slow up. If you haven't been to, by the way, Nancy Kuhn, this is her Newtown. That's where she lives. She's a wonderful community person. If you haven't been to Bianco Rosso restaurant right here, it opened. They have one in Wilton. They opened in June. It's delicious. They seem to be doing very well. Fatty Patty's opened around the corner. But Pat Fahey, who owns Parker's up here, opened it. It's kind of a Five Guys concept. Sikorsky Credit Union opened a branch right up here in February. And next door, the Ravis office did a full renovation of their space to modernize their workspace. So we are seeing some investment here. As we pull up, you're going to see on my right and your left, there was a former medical office building there, 965 White Plains Road. It is gone. It has been demolished and the site has been cleared. They will begin construction on a 21,000 square foot. It was approved in August of 2016. It's now just going under construction right here. 21,000 square foot retail commercial center. It will house Starbucks and CVS. There will be 2 drive-throughs and possibly 1 or 2 other retail spots there will be available. That will make way for them to take that ugly old white building down that's in the front, that where Starbucks currently is. That will be raised to open up that center eventually. That is the plan. So it is, yes, so it is moving. And that is actually on a fast track now. It took a long time to get underway, but now CVS wants it moving quickly. So you're going to see that building hopefully go up pretty soon, pretty quick. Any interest in that, you can call Peter DiNardo. He can talk to you about it. Or any of the openings in Trumbull Center. So that's kind of concluding our tour, although I'll make one other comment. On my right and your left, you're going to see a new building that the town constructed last year or so. There's going to be some office relocation of town services you'll be hearing about in the coming months into that building to really improve service and workflow. So you're going to be hearing about that new building. It's coming up. Like I said, you'll see it. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to. Paul will shout it out for us. Right here, that new building, okay? So we want to just thank you for being a part of Trumbull and for what you do. You're important to me. And I'm glad that I've been really getting out to meet a lot of the brokers in the region. They've been really the asset to really getting things going here in Trumbull. And I want you to know sincerely, I'm always available to you. If you need to meet with me or my staff, we can pull anybody together. If you want us to meet with any of your clients, many of you have done this before with people that you're working with. I hope you get positive feedback. We try to be very fair and very accommodating. And again, I said it at the luncheon, but I'll say it again. We try to be problem solvers, not problem makers. So I hope you'll take full advantage of that. I have my business cards. If anybody doesn't have my contact, I'd be happy to share it with you. And I hope it's okay with all of you that I put you on my economic development list. Please mark your calendar for October 26th, 8 a.m. It's a Friday at the Trumbull Marriott. We do a free business appreciation breakfast. It fills up. The last 2 years that I've been here, we had a waiting list for the event. We've had great speakers. I intend to have a really cool speaker again this year. I hope you'll come. It's a breakfast networking event, and we'll be recognizing and giving out 2 awards, a small business award and a corporate success award. You're allowed to make nominations, by the way, so if any of that interests you, please let me know, and I hope to see you at our breakfast and doing some deals here in town, okay? Thank you.